loving me, I loving you. Mothers and fathers, husbands and wives, sisters and brothers, friends for life won't live in the past.
It's time for another conversation. Welcome to Make It Last podcast, where it's all about helping us to have better relationships, not just with ourselves, but with other people. I'm Noreen Daly, and it is my pleasure to have these two, can't even say young ladies, big woman, with me on this episode. I have Camelia Guthrie, who is Communicator in Chief of CG Communications based in Canada, and Ruth and Carr, CEO of Just Ruth and Company. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you for having us.
Now, let me right off the bat tell people that this topic I specifically stole from them. I was watching them some weeks ago on their conversations with Cam and Ruth that they do on Instagram Live on a Sunday, and they were talking about relationship green flags. And I was fascinated by that because usually we talk about relationship red flags. And so I love the twist. So, of course, anything about relationship is always good fodder. For my podcast, I invited these ladies. Outside of that, though, these ladies have been friends for a while. So if you get the synergy across what's happening right now electronically, it's not fake. Trust me, these ladies are sisters. It has evolved into a sisterhood, and I've known them for a long time. So, ladies, what we're gonna be talking about is how can we encourage these relationship green flags? And of course, I'm sure some of what you will say is not just in terms of man-woman relationships, but right across the board. So, first one, tell us one of the relationship green flag. I don't know who wants to start first.
Ruth, age before beauty. You go, Ruth.
and it helps when you're aged and beautiful.
And beautiful,
So
I know, right?
I will go. I will go. I'm happy that you have decided to do this topic as well, Miss Daly. I've been struggling to call you Noreen. I almost did, and I cringed a bit. Not because she's old, guys, but because we've known her for so many years as a mentor. And even with her, we would have recognized some relationship green flags, which is why she is still so close to us in our hearts. And it's not in proximity. One of the first ones that I will mention is allowing someone to be completely and authentically themselves. I think that is a green flag. Many times we want people to be a little more like us. Sometimes we want them to change their worldviews. Like if they ever get to that point where they evolve and they change, we have to learn to love them that way and in that space. So I think that for me is a very, very important green flag, because for Camelia and I, we've always been Camelia, we've always been Ruth. And it would seem weird to you guys if you knew some of, I dare say, core beliefs that we don't agree on, but it doesn't stop us from loving and respecting each other, because we can appreciate that is who you are. You have represented and presented yourself authentically, and I accept you.
Are you going to add to that, Cam, or are you going to give us another one?
I think I'll give another one. For me, one of the biggest green flags is consistency. If you say, allow your words to match what it is that you say you're going to do, and if consistently do that. Don't tell me that I'm going to do something and then I can't see it. Or it's a thing where, for example, in a romantic relationship, it's in the honeymoon phase. And so you're opening my doors, you're carrying my bags in the first 3 months. And then all of a sudden I have to be carrying this bag by myself. I have to be opening my doors and all these things. So I say, present who you are and be consistent at doing that. So for me, consistency is one of those big, big green flags.
Ruth, so I take it each is going to tell me, the other won't necessarily comment on it, or it depends on which one it said.
We will
comment.
Okay.
We may comment, because I think that what Camelia just said, it really does piggyback, or it merges well with what I said. So you're presenting yourself authentically. This is Ruth, this is Noreen, this is Camelia. Are you always this person? And I'm saying that with space to evolve and grow, because growth and change would be seen. But do you still present yourself as this person? So that's important. I think another one for me I had it in my brain, but then I decided to comment and it kind of disappeared. And for me, it's raw, respectful honesty. And I'm saying raw because you have to kind of just bear it all and have the hard conversations first with yourself. Because sometimes I've had some conversations with myself and I'm like, why? I'm a piece of work sometimes, you know, I'm a piece of work sometimes, and I have to accept that so that when someone who loves me because of who I am and in spite of who I am, they can recognize certain things and say, hey, Ruth. And for Camelia, like, I will forever be grateful to her. She gives very good advice. Sometimes me not take them. There's one very specific one in 2018, which I did not take. Even I knew that decision that I made was not the decision to be made. But even in the midst of my poor decision making, while she encouraged me to do something else, you know, she still loved me, but she was respectfully raw and honest with me. And so for me, that is a green flag, because many times when we say we love people, we feel like we have to tiptoe around them, walk on eggshell. It's almost like we're scared to say something. We don't want to scare them off because we don't want them to feel a particular way. And there's a difference here, because we're not saying judgment, because that is different. We don't need somebody come be a judge and jury over our lives and our relationship, but somebody who knows us so much that they can remind us of our truest self when we have forgotten.
100%, Ruth. As you talk about being raw and honest with people, one of the green flags for me is recognizing when somebody's being just that with you. Because sometimes, like, I've had friendships where I remember one young lady has said to her, you know what, this is not going to work because I feel like I'm walking on eggshells around you. I have to be picking my words so carefully around you because everything hurts you. And so one of those things that allow you to be raw and honest is to come from a place where you are my friend, we're in this relationship, and you're not going to intentionally hurt me. So even if you said something that was raw and honest that it hurts, I would know that, hey, the intention was not to hurt. And so if you take it from that place, then you're able to salvage that relationship every time, because you know this person did not mean to hurt me. I may have hurt feelings, and these hurt feelings may come from issues that I've had because we approach things from our experiences, or experiences inform how we perceive things and how we receive them. And so it's also space for you to sit with yourself and say, why do I feel this way? And just know that, like I said to Ruth and the other day, like, my thing is that I approach Ruth and is never going to intentionally hurt me. K Dominic is never going to intentionally hurt me, because these people are my friends. I've chosen you as my friend. So if you say something that hurt, it's for me to sit with myself, process it, and then have a conversation with you.
Before you go on to the next one, though, do you think this particular one can transcend all relationships, or this is just for specific type of relationships?
Oh no, Miss D, point that we have presented, each green flag is for every kind of relationship, mother-daughter relationship, friendship that Camelia and I would share, your romantic relationship. It's the same kind of principles that should guide us, or should guide every single person.
A lot of us are accustomed to this whole idea of relationship red flags. So I hope you're shifting your mindset and really learning more about all these relationship green flags. We're going to take a short break and take a word from our partners. We'll be right back.
Photography is an art, but more so, photography must come from the heart. Precious moments, priceless times. Take a pic and know it will turn out fine.
BMC Photography JA, beautiful moments captured. Let's go.
Langdo Language Institute was created to meet your language and communication needs. All of our packages were created just for you. We are passionate about language and dedicated to your success. We offer the CSEC English program, the Study Buddy program, the Get Ahead with English program, and the Business Communication program. Contact us at 767-285-0938 or email us at landolanguage@gmail.com, because the real question is, how can we help you?
Are you looking for one-of-a-kind products customized to suit your needs? Then shop at Trending Things, the place where customization is always an option. From personalized gifts to apparel, accessories, drinkware, and home decor, you name it, we make it. Get your favorite designs on any item for party favors, weddings, graduations, or any special occasion, all at affordable prices. What are you waiting for? Visit our website at trendingthings.com to order your trendy item today. Trending Things, bringing creativity to the things you love.
Let me dig on this particular one.
Okay.
Let's say a romantic relationship, and in terms of being very raw and very honest, there are some things that would have happened in the past that is impacting on the present.
Mm-hmm.
And then the question is asked, what were some of those past issues or past things that are now impacting on the present? How raw and how honest could somebody be?
100% raw and honest. And when you say that, I think of my ex. My ex and I are still friends.
Okay.
And we've had the conversation, like, what went wrong? At this point, I felt like, why did you do that? And I was upset. I was hurt. And having had that conversation, I was able to understand where it is that he was coming from. Like, we were 100% raw and honest. Like, I said things that I probably would never have said otherwise. He said things that he probably would not have said otherwise. But you get to an understanding of why people do some of the things they do, not to excuse bad behavior. But one of the things, I was able to say, you know what? I forgive you. I see where you were coming from, as badly as it made me feel. But when you're able to be that raw, that honest, and be that vulnerable, and it's two-way, then you have nothing. There's nothing there to hinder proper communication. Because when I've given you all my soul, I've told you all that's on my mind, and you do the same. The space is ripe for. It's right for so many things, for all sorts of possibilities. And so it goes for romantic relationships too.
Here it is that I didn't want to just brush over this one, because sometimes I don't think a lot of persons are at the point where they're ready for that level of honesty.
That's true.
That is true, because one of my next points is to recognize when you are the toxic one within the relationship. Because even in our relationship, my friendship with Camelia, everybody would know us happy-go-lucky. We have had our rough paths. I've had times when me write her letter, they think me write love letter to my man, I ball down the place because I feel like there was a disconnect.
Okay.
You know, and then because of that, I was triggered, and I didn't have the conversation immediately. So, you know, when you allow things to fester, then they can portray themselves in a not so beautiful manner. You know, luckily for me, it wasn't cursing, because I don't curse and them something when I'm upset. I was just crying like somebody beat me in front of her family, like, what is happening? Is this girl crazy? Kind of situation. And then we eventually had that conversation. But we have to recognize when we are the one going off. We have to recognize when we are being unkind, when we are being toxic. And once we do, we have to be willing, going back to honesty, to come and say, even if you didn't recognize it, Camelia, the other day, I really am not proud of my behavior. And sometimes they can't even figure it out. They're like, no, you were just having one of your moments, but still seize the opportunity to say, no, it wasn't just a moment. Don't accept it as a moment. I was not in the right. My head wasn't in the right place. How
Mm-hmm.
I presented myself, how I spoke to you, how I spoke about you was not correct. And I'm here to tell you that I am absolutely sorry. I recognize where I went wrong. And can you forgive me? And can we work past this?
Hear what it is though. Somebody's gonna listen or watch this, ladies, and they're gonna say it's all well and good for both of you to talk like that because it's obvious that both of you are at a level or at a particular point in your life's journey where you have a certain level of self-awareness. But somebody who's listening and who will watch this and they will say, I'm not quite there yet. What would you say to them?
It's okay, because the thing is, you can't be just vulnerable, walking around being vulnerable with everybody. I'm able to be vulnerable and be raw and honest with Ruth, and because we've built that relationship, as you mentioned. So you don't just go around telling people your business. You have to test the waters first, ensure that this is somebody you can trust with your business. And because sometimes people will sit and they'll listen to everything that you have to say and they never share anything. Ensure the space is one for sharing where both people are being vulnerable. And then you can, from that, decide, you know what, maybe this person, like, we've invested enough in this relationship where I can be that. But until you get there, don't force it. Yes. Don't force it. Be vulnerable. Be vulnerable where you are. So if 1% of vulnerability is where you are now, then give that. But be vulnerable and allow space. Allow space for that. And just going back to something that Ruth Ann said about, accepting when you've done things wrong and coming back to apologize. This is what I think is one of the reasons why our relationship has lasted so long. Because there are times when Ruth Ann will act up. And and like sometimes I'm like, I'm not even having this conversation with you. Goodbye. And we're done talking. And afterwards, I'm like, you did this. And I don't know if you see it this way. And Ruth Ann, in the moment, she might, she might huff and puff. But at some point, she's going to sit with herself and say, Cam, I was wrong. And I will do the same thing. And so you have to be willing to take criticism, right? And I think that's one of the reasons why we've lasted this long.
Yeah.
Next.
Okay, I want to go next.
Flag.
My next one is don't always, a relationship green flag is when you don't always feel the need to fill silence. So you can spend time with this person.
Girl, this is a word.
Yeah, you can spend time with this person. You don't have to say a word. You exist in the space and you know that this person has you and you have them, but you don't feel the need to force and have conversation and do things. Ruth and I have lived together. And Ruth Ann will come home and she will cook the food.
You know what, that was my next point. That was my next point, girl. Carry on.
Ruth Ann will come home. She will cook the food and the food is ready. She said the food is ready. She's eating. I'm eating. She's doing what she's doing. I'm doing what I'm doing. When I'm done, I'm like, good night. And we go about our business. And it's like we don't have the need to try to always be communicating with each other. Nobody's built like that. I'm sorry.
I can't relate because a lot of you would know my friend Drea, who now lives in Abu Dhabi. And even when we're in the same space, she can be in her room and I'm in my room and we're fine. We don't have to be up. And people would probably assume that because we haven't seen each other for an extended period, we're going to be talking all the time. No, no, we're quite fine being in the same space. You're doing your thing, I'm doing my thing. And I don't think a lot of friendships can appreciate that because you have to be comfortable being silent.
Yes.
With each other.
And sorry for cutting you off. It comes from learning to be silent with yourself. Many of us not spend time with ourselves, and because we have to try to fill that void whenever we're around someone else, they need to fill that void. They need to attend to us, they need to speak to us, they need to do this, or I need to do this, or what is wrong? Is something wrong? Did I act out? Why are you treating me this way? So until we get to that point, because even for my relationship with Camelia, as we would have mentioned, we never started here. We had our ups and downs. We had we had things that we needed to work through and things that we're still currently working through as individuals. And it's just great that we have this safe space that as individuals we can come and just throw all our thoughts and who we are in front of each other. And sometimes Camelia can help me to pick them up. I can help her to pick apart things because sometimes I cannot see certain things. I cannot understand it because I'm too close to it. I'm zoomed up, but she has different lens on. So she's like, all right, Ruth, and I have like a wide angle. So
sorry not to cut you, but literally, I have different lens on. Literally,
literally. But for real. So what I would add is that when you're going into a relationship and you want to look for green flags, make sure you go into it waving your green flag as well. So be what it is that you're expecting from other people.
Yeah, this is a conversation that is not over. So this was just part one of this conversation about relationship green flags with Cam and Ruth Ann. Join us next week where we conclude the conversation.
Making it last is all I care to do. You loving me, I loving you. Mothers and fathers, husbands and wives, sisters and brothers, friends for life, won't live in the past. All I wanna do now is making it last.